All right. Okay. I'm live. Finally, like I haven't done this before, so I'm hoping it's working. Um, Guys, just a very quick thought from me. I haven't done these vlogs in a while, and it sort of feels as though there's so much to talk about. It sort of feels as though right now we're in a weird position where things are happening to us, and we have very little in the way of control around the conversation. So yesterday, President Cyril Ramaphosa goes into um, Amen. Cyril Ramaphosa went full Forrest Gump on us at the end of that. That speech. It was the funniest thing I'd seen in a very long time. You want to just give him a box of chocolate as you're struggling with that mask, didn't you? All right, I'm being mean. I'm being funny, but needless to say, I did have a good laugh watching the president struggle with the mask. But there was a wonderful metaphor in that. There was a wonderful metaphor in that, insofar as his struggle to put that mask on exemplifies government action up till now. They've been struggling to put the mask on as to what their real intentions are, which is a continuation, in my assessment, of the socialist communist agenda of the ANC, underpinned, of course, by their founding documents, not founding, but one of their documents. Called the National Democratic Revolution, the NDR in short. This is the foundational socialist mantra that guides ANC policy, that guides ANC action, even to this day. And they reaffirm it at every elective conference, including the last one that saw Cyril Ramaphosa being elected the ANC president. So whenever I talk about the ANC being trendy lefties and commies and socialists, it's not me. I'm not being mean. Shout out to you, Expat Opinions. I see you, dog. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. But the point I was making is that whenever I talk about the ANC, whenever I talk about their socialist and communist underpinnings, shout out to Morning Shot, Rahman, homie. I'm not being, I'm not being the, oh, there goes the right winger, Big Daddy, calling everybody communist, in his loony world. Boop, boo. No, guys, I'm literally echoing the very sort of sentiments and words that they use to describe themselves. They call themselves commies and are self-described socialists. It's not me just being, facetious. So with them basically telling you exactly who you are. And by the way, when a politician tells you who he is, you best believe you must believe them. You best believe you must believe them. Because I can tell you now, you can either be one of two types of South Africans. The one are people who want to believe in Project ANC, right? They're the ones who were there in the run up to 94, and they were so enamored by the mood at the time that to a large extent, then and even to this day, they choose to ignore the absolute shit show that can be ANC policy. They choose to ignore the effects of ANC policy. So you have millions and millions and millions of ANC supporters who judge their policies by intentions, what they intend to do, and not necessarily the outcomes of that policy. Because if you ask someone who bears the direct brunt of the outcomes of those policies, they're not happy. They're not happy with the ANC. And I'm not talking about, the sort of well-to-do, chattering class, middle class types. No, I'm talking about even poor South Africans who we often, and I see this a lot on social media, people go, oh, but people need to stop voting for them, blah, 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 blah. Guys, facts. There are more people who do not vote in this country, who are eligible to vote, but don't vote, than there are actual ANC voters. So whenever you see images of people in shack areas or poorer parts of the country going through a really tough time, stop this bullshit of saying, oh, but maybe they need to stop voting ANC. That's absolute bullshit. Because you might find, invariably, that a lot of those people in that part of the world, so disgusted with the ANC, have just chosen to not vote at all. And that's more an indictment, not necessarily of the ANC, but of our politics generally in this country, that people would rather not vote well, firstly, that people would rather not would opt not to vote ANC, but equally opt to not vote at all than to vote for any other political party in this country. So it's definitely an indictment on our politics. So stop saying that tired bullshit. And I get it a lot on my social media feed whenever I criticize the ANC and I point out the effects of their bad policies on poor people. You hear that asshole say, "Oh, maybe people should stop voting ANC." Guys, stop doing that. There's a more likelihood that that person didn't vote ANC and didn't vote at all because of how sick and tired they are of our politics. And when I talk about, for example, don't trust a commie, or rather never trust a commie, and politicians are not our friends, it's exemplified in the very fact that people opt not to vote. So I had to get that quickly out the way. But as to the question I posed as in the header of this video, will the economy really recover? I think that's top of mind right now. Yesterday, the president announces that we're now moving into the 5 stages of lockdownistan, as I like to call it, because it really is a lockdownistan type society now. We've ceded so many of our freedoms over to the ANC and politicians that it's ridiculous. I don't think we're going to get them back, but that's a separate issue for the moment. Will the economy recover? I have a lacquer the previous episode of the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Just check it out on YouTube, where I'm in conversation with Russell Lamberti, economist at ETM Macro Advisors, and Mpiyake Kamine, a regular face, I think, for most of us, who's on Blacks Only. He's from the Free Market Foundation. COVID-68, I see you, homie. Shout out to you. Good morning. I'm in conversation with these homies about the state of the economy, and these guys will blow your mind. Blow your mind. These are sharp minds. I make every effort on my show, at least, to bring some of the smartest South Africans on to this platform so that you get a good taste of what good intellectual quality content should sound like on the media. Shout out to you, Jason Frost. Chris, shout out to you, homie. I will greet everybody. This is my first live show, so I'm a little excited as to this. Thank you, homie. I'm a little excited. Bav says, "Hey, what happened to my curtains?" Homie, I just moved into this place. I literally moved in on the day of the lockdown, and I couldn't get stuff from storage to furnish the place properly. But thankfully, I have a bit of furniture and stuff. Shout out to you, Alois van Sale, and to you, IC3. IC3 saying, "Let's cross fingers that the ANC don't see the stream yet." No. But to come back to my thought process, guys, we have a situation in this country where we're simply allowing people who should not be in a position of state power, people who should not be governing, to govern us. And then all of us are so annoyed and surprised when we see them sort of embark on this road to serfdom, embark on this road of imprisoning mostly the poorer segments of our society, so that it circles back to the question I actually asked. Sorry, that's where I was. Will the economy recover? Now, 2 things very briefly, and this will not be a long live cast. 10 minutes, I'll wrap it up. We already entered, and I made this point on Ramon's show, in the morning shot. Shout out to you, Ramon, again. I already made this point on that show. We entered this lockdown off of a serious back foot on already recession. South Africa, boom, done. Recession, we're fucked. 2 consecutive periods of negative growth. We entered this this lockdown from that poor base. Worse yet, I then went into the micro level and I spoke about the more productive people in our society, from the mama who sells acha on the side of the road, and I purposefully use that example because that's who we seem to be arresting these days. Street vendors and people earning an honest living. Anyway, that lady who barely makes an income on a day-to-day basis entered this lockdown with very little in the way of preparation because they just weren't given the time to do that. Not much in the way of savings, and also the very nature of their business in the informal sector is that they make what they make day by day. So these are people who literally live hand to mouth, and we've been telling them to lock down, not make an income, and to sit in a 4x4 shack, baking in the heat in the day, cold as F in the evenings, in there for 24 hours. We've been telling that person to lock themselves away in a slum-like condition, and none of us bat an eyelid or think about just how impractical that is. But we're telling that person to lock down in this one-size-fits-all lockdown. Number two, entrepreneurs, right? People like me and maybe you out there. We're not millionaires. We don't make crazy amounts of money. To a large extent, especially if you're a small entrepreneur like me, I've got 4 taxis, 4 Ubers. You're also living to a large extent hand to mouth. You know, like you're not Saul Kersner. Oh, rest in peace. Maybe too soon on that one. But you're not, Johan Rupert or Patrice Motsepe. You're not making super, hand over fist cash here. You're basically making enough to make a nice little profit, but also provide a meal for people who you employ. We entered this lockdown also off of a very poor base, especially if you're a cash flow business like mine. If I'm not making any cash at all, if the cars are not on the road making any cash at all, guys, there's no cash at the end of the month to do anything. And I can tell you now, and even as I speak, I'm sort of fighting back tears. I'm talking about guys who literally bust their bums for me every single day to make money. Not only for me, but for them too. And they have nothing over this period. Like there's nothing for them. And yes, we try as business owners to provide over this period, but guys, I don't think you understand just how miserable things are right now for I really am getting a bit emotional, but because I don't think people understand how difficult things are for poorer people right now. And when I talk about poorer people, I'm not talking about those who are just in grinding poverty, like even people who were on the margins already, maybe even people who hold a job, but they were on the margins already. Like this period has been absolutely terrible for them. So, didn't think I'll get that emotional, but I needed to understand who we are as business owners. We're not these, top hat wearing, overcoat wearing, grinding the face of the poor people. We are people who are literally providing for those who politicians talk about providing for, but don't provide for. But we, the entrepreneurs in this country, are actually doing that hard work. That lady who sells acha, that lady who sells fruits on the side of the road, she does more for this economy than your favorite politician does. That small-time entrepreneur right now, who's worried about the end of the month, because those debit orders are going to go off nonetheless, and we have to forego our own salaries in order to meet our obligation to our debtors and to our employees. I'm worried about that person right now. I'm not worried about your politicians. So those of you who say, oh, I'm being so mean to the politicians, you've got to be nice to them. I say, fuck that. Because those people are going to draw a salary at the end of this month no matter what. They're sorted. Your president is going to draw his R1,000,000, whatever it is, salary, or probably like 200 and something thousand rand salary at the end of this month, guaranteed. All the politicians, opposition, all of them. And guess where that money comes from? People like me and you. So you and I are suffering right now, but they're fine. And in economics, that is the definition of what they call the moral hazard. This idea that there are people who make decisions about other people's lives and livelihoods, but they don't bear the costs of a bad decision that they take. You and I bear that cost. That is a cold, hard fact. And if you really look at the situation that we're in right now, that's exactly the damn problem. We are paying the costs, the bad costs of their decision making. And yeah, so in any event, as I said, I didn't want to waffle on this one. This was just my... I think I'm back. There we go. Maybe the commies were listening going, oh, shut him up. He's revealing our game plan. As I said, look, guys, sorry to get emotional on this one, but like it's painful to see what my fellow South Africans are going through. It's painful to see what you, the individual, what you, the family man, the family woman are going through. It literally breaks my heart, because if you follow me online, you'll know that I say this often, that nothing matters more to me than you, the individual, you, the South African. Like, I don't give a fuck about the politicians. I don't give a fuck about this government. The only thing that matters to me almost it's like my blinders as a horse, blinkers. What is it called? Yeah, blinkers as a horse. My singular focus is the individual. That guy, whether you're rich and you're in your flashy BMW right now, or the poorest of poor guys who's literally pulling a recyclables trolley right now. That's if no soldiers harassing them. Like, you are who matters to me more than anything else. And right now, it's you who's doing the hurting, and that breaks my heart. And it makes me very angry. Angry to the point where I don't think politicians are going to like me over the next few weeks. I'm going to be an absolute pain, an absolute thorn in their side. And as I grow this channel, and I ask you, please, guys, like and share my stuff. As I grow this channel, I am going to be the voice that pisses off politicians so much, that they think twice about bullshitting you or me, because I'll be on their asses, man. I'll be on them like white on rice. Because for far too long in this country, politicians have been getting away with bullshitting you, but at the same time pretending to be the providers, right? Yeah, let me actually leave that one there, because I was about to say something inappropriate. But yeah, guys, sorry. Back to the topic, and just to wrap up, perhaps. Will the South African economy recover? I think the short answer is no. We're about to see serious pain, like worse than we generally have seen before. Why? Because as I was sort of setting up before, in the run-up to the lockdown, we already saw people who were falling by the wayside. People who just said, that's it, I can't make it now, I'm done. I now am becoming the very sort of state dependent that I never thought I was going to be. I now am becoming the very sort of poor person that I never thought I was going to be. And it is those individuals, the vast majority of them, who are actually the productive part of this country. When they start giving up because things are becoming too tough for them, that's when I think, as the Afrikaners would say, the popo sal dance. And I think we've reached that point, that even when when Cyril Ramaphosa made that announcement last night, that, oh, okay, I'm now moving us to the 5 stages of lockdown. It's no longer going to be a hard lockdown right now. I'm freeing Lockdownistan to level 4. Level 4 being just basically being, stage 5 with just a few more benefits, really. And I like what Roman said. He called President Ramaphosa our parole officer. I think he's damn spot on that. But sorry, back to the question. I think even with that announcement of stage 4 lockdown, I don't think we're going to see the industrious South African, the mensen wat Bodie Nasi and Bodie Goedes. I don't think we're going to see those people come back with the same vigor that they had prior to the lockdown. I'm looking at my friends in the taxi industry, and I know guys there who are, I know guys there who are literally at the point of near suicide, because they're just looking at the sheer state of their businesses, and they're wondering whether they'll be able to come back after this. And that is a scary place to be in, when people who you look up to as the model entrepreneurs are basically saying, this is it, I'm done. These politicians have finally won. They finally get what they've always wanted, which is to destroy the independent, money-making individual. You win, right? You win, dear politician. So I don't think we're going to see a strong bounce back in this economy, and I don't think the ANC are at a point where they're serious about reform specifically towards more market reforms, being, literally saying, allow the individual people in this country to be the ones who make the money. Not only make the money, but keep more of their money. Lower taxes, lower regulations, business incentives, such as, opening up trade, and markets to those of us who want to export goodies if we're in the world of goods and services like that. I don't think we're going to see the ANC that affirms that. I think we're going to see an ANC that is very excited right now about what's happening. They look at people getting poorer and poorer, and that actually excites them, almost sexually excites them in a weird kind of fetish way. You have these anti-politicians who want you to become poorer because poorer people, a poorer society is more dependent on the state. A poorer society is one which basically allows a politician to hold that kosbaki, that little food parcel in their hand with that sort of Cheshire cat grin and say, "Here you go. I'm providing this to you because I'm the politician and I look after you. I'm this parental figure that government shouldn't be, but in this country is." Excuse me. Sorry. I think I think they look at this. Excuse me. I think they look at this lockdown. They look at people getting poorer. They look at people getting more dependent, and it makes them really, really happy. It makes them really, really happy. Because finally they're able to break the back of so-called white monopoly capital who've been preventing them from having a bigger audience of poorer people. So to answer my own question in this, because I can hear myself sort of ramble and I don't like rambling, I don't think this economy is going to recover. And I think we're going to see people who ordinarily are very chipper and very, who have that chias, right? I think we're going to see them lose hope. And once those people lose hope, it really begins to unravel because this country has been held together up till now by you, the entrepreneur, small or big. Whether you run a small mom and pop shop at the corner selling to your community, to the guy who runs, a mega warehouse. I think you're the one who, when they break your back, Project South Africa ends. It ceases to exist. It then becomes like any other socialist state in the world where you have a vast majority of South Africans who have to live off of not necessarily I hope I'm back. But maybe that's a good place to end it because, I'm having clearly line issues now. I just thought I should, I thought I should get that off my chest. It's a mini vlog, a live one. It actually feels nice to talk to people. I've been in isolation now for quite a while, as we all have been. But it sucks when you're someone who likes, putting out content like this. Shout out to Rain for putting me back onto the internet. Your lines are shitty, but I'll take what I have. Guys, maybe to wrap up, a quick recap. I don't think this economy is going to recover. I think we're headed into serious pain. Today on my Chai FM show, which I just completed now, I had a conversation with Mr. Dean Cannell, who's the CEO of, I'll tell you just now, it's a Bitcoin company. Excuse me, not a Bitcoin company, a cryptocurrency company. I need to stop saying Bitcoin. I suppose it's the biggest one. We always refer to it. But he's the CEO of a, as I try and load it on here, he's the CEO of blah, 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 blah. Where is this? He's the CEO of CoinFabric, which is a cryptocurrency company. This guy's 100%, yikes, that kombucha came back. He's the CEO of CoinFabric, which is a company that, specializes, in cryptocurrency and the like. So that was a very nice conversation I had with him on my Chai FM radio show just an hour or half an hour ago. And Mr. Skalk Dormel, another voice that you've actually seen on the Big Daddy Liberty show. He's on one of my videos, Skalk Dormel, as we talked about cryptocurrency. And the conversation I had with them on this issue is, with the economy going in the direction that it's going, with the pain that we're about to see, is there a way that you, the industrious, hardworking South African, who does the right thing, right, of building savings, building household savings and the like, is there a way for you to preserve your wealth and to preserve your the value of your currency, especially as we're watching the rand tank, and I mean really tank? It's crazy, dude. Like in my childhood years, the rand was almost on par with the dollar and these sort of currencies. Most of my childhood was around 6 rand to the dollar. So to watch it now be near $20 is just crazy. And I'm seeing Fred here say buy gold and leave. Dog, hey man, like I had this conversation with Mpia Kegamini, who you guys are aware of. And he holds the same view. He's like, hey man, I'm buying some silver, I'm buying some gold, I'm buying some crypto. And I've got, as I always say to my friend, I've got that duffel bag that's just ready for me to roll when needs be. But you know, jokes aside, and that's not really a joke, it's true. Anyway, the conversation I had this morning was very instructive. Listening to these two guys who are early adopters of this crypto, and one guy who literally lives 100% on crypto, saying to you, this is not only the future, but it's the now. And I think a lot of South Africans who are worried about the state of the economy, South Africans who are worried about their finances, this is one avenue that they can definitely look at. So I'm going to be having more conversations in the next few days, in the preceding weeks, with guys who are in this world, guys who are maybe strong on alternative ways of investing. You know, guys like Magnus Haystack, for example, who's been sounding the alarm about your savings and your pension and the like. You know, the Institute of Race Relations, which have been saying for a very long time now that our savings, our very meager wealth is now firmly in the crosshairs of politicians. You know, that they've been saying, look at alternatives. So I'm going to be bringing you some of that stuff and having that conversation. So you can look forward to that as we really continue to answer the question of, will the South African economy recover? And on that note, let me say thank you to every... and I see you, Bav. Absolutely. I will be doing a live stream, a dummy's guide to crypto investing. Absolutely. As I said, I've got these guys, these awesome resources, really. Guys who know what they're talking about. We're going to be talking about this on the show. We're going to be doing a lot more shows around that in the coming weeks. So, guys, I must end this one. I didn't really want it to go this long. It is really me just testing the stability of my internet and the like. So I'm glad that this all works out. I see. Let me just read some quick messages here. I want Helen Ziller back in the DNAs in. Don't act. I missed your name. Kerry, sounds good. BDL, thank you very much. IC3ZA, thank you, homie, for the support. And Forex is what Enter Relax says. People can live on that. Forex, okay. Great show. Thank you very much. And awesome live feed. Thanks, guys. For those who are watching, thank you very much. I am going to do much, and many more of these. Sorry, much or many more of these. And yeah, remember, if you want to support your big fat boy over here, who is losing weight, thank you, Lord. Amen. Low carb, high fat, is definitely helping. This shirt, this t-shirt that I'm wearing, which now has even a bit of bagginess to it. This is a 7, is it a 6XL? I think it's a 7XL t-shirt. Guys, I was wearing 10XL about a month and a half ago, and I've literally dropped back to my old t-shirts, you know, the 6s and 7s XLs. So I'm super chuffed. Still have my boop. We're going to work on that. But just to see progress, man, oh man, like trust you me, guys, when you're struggling with obesity, and you go through the yo-yo, like anything that is this consistent in the drop in weight, or just, again, I don't know my weight yet because I haven't been able to weigh myself. I need one of those industrial damn scales to weigh myself, but I can see it in my t-shirts, let me put it that way. So I'm super chuffed about that. You know, my starting weight was 214, 214 kilograms, believe it or not. And once I get down to around 150, 140, I'll start exercising again. Oh man, I can't wait to go back to my rugby body. Anyway, sorry, that was all. I digress. All of this is useless, except to say, super chuffed to be able to now talk to you guys live like this. I'm gonna miss that comment, Bluesy. Sorry, I didn't see it. Kiki, 214 kilograms, guys. Hey man, it pounds on. And I must say, a lot of it isn't necessarily overeating or bad eating. It's just what we eat and when we eat. It's crazy. Like if you look at the South African plate, and what I grew up on, right? You know, it's like 80% of starch, you know, rice or samp or, you know, like crazy. And we eat like this because historically we were poor, right? And that's the cheaper stuff. But even as an adult, and you know, you get your own job and you start working and earning money, you almost continue what you know. And that becomes really harmful in the body. And I saw the weight pack on. Guys, I'm that guy. If any of you know me from my high school and university days, I'm the guy who played every sport. I was not a fat, lazy slouch. I was the guy who played, rugby semi-professionally at one point, but I couldn't shake the weight. And it only takes guys like, about Tim Noakes and these other voices who I've been watching online. I will shout you out, guys. I can't think of your names right now. For you to understand that it's what you put into your body that's literally killing or inflating on the one side of your body, but also killing it in terms of your organs and the like. Anyway, I am digressing. This was not about this. Let me end it. Guys, thank you so much. If you want to support your favorite fat boy, make sure you become a friend of the IRR, excuse me. This is our crowdfunding campaign. All it is throwing a few shekels my way. That's how I make my money. I'm not rich. I'm not like, I nearly said Saul Kersner. Guys, let me make it take a moment. He was such a legend in the community. When he died, man, you should have seen how many messages I got from fellow Jews talking about this homie, like a proper mensch, a builder of this country. Maybe I should actually just get it out so I stop stopping myself when I mention his name. And about that, we in the Jewish community, like, it's weird to not meet. Like, it's a Friday now, and I'm going to prepare for Shabbos, but to not see my friends, guys like Saul and I probably shouldn't mention names, but Saul's a good mentor of mine, a big supporter of the show. It's weird, man. It's weird not to be at shul, to see your Rav. And anyway, so if you want to support the show, please become a friend of the IRR. Throw $90 a month that way. That's how I make my living. And yeah, guys, I super appreciate this. Thank you for listening and watching. I will see you on the next one, whenever that'll be. At least I know this works. And guys, for those of you who are Jewish, Shabbat Shalom to you, and everybody else, happy weekend, guys, and peace out.